Brian, welcome, man. How are ya? What a
Carlos,
day.
what a day. Yeah, good to see you, Carlos. This is exciting stuff.
And well, we're here in the middle of the Decentraland Sea. I mean, we all get that smell in the air. And yeah, we're not gonna bore people too much before we actually show you the demo of the primary lending platform. But we just couldn't resist the opportunity to jump in and tell you a little bit about the roadmap that we've laid out in our latest announcement. So we have how many are there? Like 10 items in that roadmap. Is there anyone in particular that you're most excited about?
I think all of them. I think the first one will be staking and yield farming because that gives lenders, particularly, an incentive, extra incentive to get onto the platform, and that benefits borrowers as well because it gives lenders that incentive, and as a result, that will um, provide more lenders, which means the borrowers get a better deal essentially because lenders will be stacking up, getting their extra rewards. And so I think that is a really good game theory, incentive compatible approach to kickstart this platform.
100%. I mean, like we are saying, this is only going to be a 5 minute teaser, but we are looking into the core feature that enables all the functionalities for the Fringe token, right? And for most of the Fringe ecosystem. So that's definitely something we all want to look forward to. Something that I've read a lot about is moving toward layer twos and scalability solutions. So, is there anything you'd like to mention in there?
Well, yeah, we've been considering a number of approaches onto other layer ones and layer two platforms. And we have, in fact, ported the primary lending platform to other layer ones. And that will give those ecosystems access to this platform. Of course, the assets on those different layer ones are different to what's on the Ethereum mainnet. So it'll serve a different set of users. But ultimately, that really benefits the Fringe governance token holders because it means there's more utility in the platform and therefore more use of the platform and therefore more fees collected by the platform. And that's a key thing because the whole idea with our roadmap is to provide great utility out there for all the DeFi ecosystem. And that just makes it really good for our governance token holders.
And it just brings in general a wider picture to cover, which in this context can only be a good thing. I think, yeah, we'll see very very exciting things on that front, and I surely cannot wait to tell people what you guys have been deploying in silence. Yeah, moving fast because there are so many items. The handover of Fringe Finance to a decentralized DAO. Now, how do you feel about that one? I, for one, would really like to see how people, well, the kind of community that gets formed around this. We've seen the community that we already have, and it's quite an exciting community to be a part of. Now, it would just be great to see people become politicians, basically.
Yeah, I think it's quite important for us to consider this with some mindfulness. What we're attempting to do is produce content about our platform, about, for example, the parameterization or the definition of the parameters for the platform, and really good descriptions of how this team and the product is working. Because with and with good descriptions of this, including upcoming posts which will describe the way our marketing team works and the way this product is marketed, we want to attract people who are capable in all of the disciplines that it takes to be a component of a functional and an effective DAO. So we want to produce this content to attract those people and to instill into the community the disciplines that are necessary to run this DAO effectively. And then as people understand the various components of this overall organization and product, they can then position themselves to be effective participants in that. Because
I
there
think that
is,
is. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, because it's serious business, and we need, this good community. We would want to tap the capability in that community and foster that in such a way that people become engaged and operate effectively in the DAO, because ultimately this is for the Frin token holders. And if we create a an excellent product based on good philosophy and good principles of DeFi, which is permissionless, decentralization, and all of the good things that come that are the value propositions for DeFi, then we'll attract the right people, because there are so many projects that either have bad design. For example, there's some projects falling apart at the moment because they just don't have some of the important aspects of a stable platform, such as borrowing limits on the platform. We've not only incorporated that as part of our platform, but the way we go about determining what the lending parameters are, there's quite a lot of science behind that. And we've posted up some articles, and we're about to release some additional description of all of that. And I think this is really important that we get this right. And this project is all about producing good DeFi, really from a philosophical stance. And so that will mean it's for the long term going to be a sustainable product. Because again, we've seen products out there where they've either been designed badly, or they're just not embodying this notion of good DeFi, decentralization, and so forth, where those platforms are too centralized, and or they're trying to be too smart by half by creating complex products with unsustainable yield models and so forth, that ultimately mean they crash and burn. And we've seen, in this exciting times over the last few weeks in the crypto space, a lot of exciting bonfires that have exploded. So
And
we,
I think it's as telling to see what has bursted as it is to see what has endured, right? Because that really shows the way that everyone should be, yeah, the way that everyone should keep in mind. I mean, you see the quote unquote blue chips in the space, and they're still running, and they're hopefully not losing billions any of these days. So that also should give people hope, the seeing that there are things that are well built and that are enduring stressful market times.
yeah, I think solid product with solid philosophy and good embracing of the good tenets of DeFi will survive. And as these bonfires occur in projects that don't embrace these philosophies, it will channel more and more people to the solid products. That's our intention, to be one of those solid products.
And well, one final thing, I think it's really also interesting to see that this is going to be the first time that a lending platform is going to try out a model that involves their token in the way we are. I mean, effectively, like the biggest names in DeFi lending are not doing what we aim to do with our token. So, yeah, just what are your general thoughts on that? I mean, it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, again, it comes back to not only good technical design of product, but also the incentive compatible game theory that needs to be established for these products, so that for these projects, so that all participants have the right incentives to participate in these platforms. And I think it's quite important. It's quite um, it's quite important, the structure and the intent that we've got behind the way we've structured this, because it ultimately means longevity, because the right incentives are there for the right actors to be
Try out a
sustainably.
model that involves their token in the way we are.
I think,
I mean, that's a great message to leave people with before we show them the demo for the primary lending platform. Final product. Finally. Yes. Anything you'd like to say before we cut to the video?
No, let's cut to the video. Everyone wants to see that and not listen to us talk. So let's go.
Let's go. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, let us jump right in. We're going to look at Fringe Finance's primary lending platform. This diagram here is an overview and it gives us an indication of the key actors and how they interact. We're going to be looking at today how lenders can deposit their stablecoins into our primary capital pool so that borrowers can deposit their collateral assets that will back stablecoin loans that they can take out from the primary lending platform. Also, liquidators perform a very important function on the platform because they help maintain stability of the platform for any loan positions taken out by borrowers, whereby the borrower allows the position to become lower than the minimum capitalization level. Here we have the use cases of the primary lending platform. These are functions that the lender can perform and also the borrower. As a lender, the lender can deposit their stable coins and they can withdraw their stable coins. In that process, they receive extra stable coins, extra coins in return, and that reflects the prevailing interest rate. Borrowers, on the other hand, can deposit their collateral, which allows them to take out stablecoin loans, and they can repay their stablecoin loans and then ultimately withdraw their collateral. Liquidators perform a function which is to liquidate under collateralized loans. We have lots of indicators on the platform to help borrowers manage their positions to minimize the likelihood that they'll ever be liquidated. But it's a very important function on the platform to ensure that the platform remains stable and that all participants can have trust in the platform that will remain in a liquid state. Let's have a look at the functions available: lending functions, borrowing functions, and also I'll show some market overview. But let's have a quick look at the lending functions. I'm using the Ethereum mainnet here. So I've got some small amounts of tokens in my wallet, but this is more than sufficient to demonstrate what we're needing to show here today. Okay, as we can see, I have no deposited balance on the platform. And in terms of stablecoins, I've supplied nothing at this point. In my external wallet, I have 401 USDC that I can deposit onto the platform. Let's go ahead and deposit. Let's say we can deposit 200 USDC. MetaMask is asking me to confirm this. Okay, that is successfully confirmed. And we'll see our user interface update. So it shows that $200 USDC, and I can see here my individual balances. At this point, we currently support USDC as the sole capital asset, but over time we'll be adding additional capital assets to the platform. We'll be quite judicious in deciding which capital assets are supplied to the platform so that we minimize the fragmentation of the capital pools to ensure that there's minimum slippage and to minimize volatility in interest rates. I can see here my external wallet is now reduced by the amount of USDC that I've deposited onto the platform. I can see here I've received F tokens. These F tokens are interest-bearing tokens that increase in value over time. So the redemption value on this platform means that whatever the prevailing interest rate is, I'll receive an increased value for returning these tokens to the platform. We'll have a quick look at my MetaMask. Under my assets, I can see that I have these F tokens deposited on the platform. As we can see, they don't quite exactly equal 1 USDC because over time, those F tokens increase in value to reflect the interest rate. Now that the platform has some liquidity, I can act as a borrower and deposit some collateral assets onto the platform and take out a loan. This is the borrower page. I can see here that I have zero borrowing capacity at the moment because I have not deposited any collateral onto the platform. I have various assets that I could deposit onto the platform. In this case, I have a balance of 50 link tokens. I'm going to deposit some of that and we'll see how that affects the platform. My wallet balance also shows that I have 201 USDC. When I take out loans, the stablecoins that I borrow will be deposited into my wallet. So let's go ahead and deposit some collateral, some Chainlink, onto this platform. Now we've got 50 Chainlink. I'm going to deposit 40. MetaMask is asking me to confirm this transaction. And that transaction has confirmed successfully. What we see is we have now deposited Chainlink and the total collateral balance is about $230. That has given me, because of the loan to value ratio assigned to this asset, I can borrow up to $109 USDC. So here I can take out a loan. The loan to value ratio ensures that the platform, even in volatile market conditions, remains solvent, so that there is always over collateralization of borrowers' loans. I'm going to borrow $100. MetaMask is asking me to confirm this transaction, and this transaction has successfully confirmed. So what I see now is my collateral that I've deposited here with Chainlink. I've now taken out a USDC loan of $100, and I see my wallet balance also has increased because that USDC that I borrowed has been deposited directly into my wallet. While we've got an open position here and also lenders have deposited capital onto the platform, I'm going to quickly show the markets page. And this gives an overview at the platform level. So we can see that if I select some metrics here, we can see total amount of collateral that is deposited, total outstanding loan amount, and collateral versus open loan positions. So it shows how solvent the platform is. And it shows also the total PIT tokens, which is our representation of borrowing capacity. So we can depict these charts, and we can see here that the total amount of collateral deposited on this red line is far in excess of the total outstanding loan amount. So this gives us a good idea at a macro level of where the platform sits. Then we also include, on a per asset basis, what the outstanding borrowed amount is against these assets. So we've got a clear understanding of how people are using this platform. We institute debt limits, maximum borrowing capacity for each of the assets, and that is based on the available liquidity in various exchange venues to ensure that there is always willing participants to liquidate positions in adverse market conditions. Let's go back to our borrow page and repay this loan position. We can see that there is some accrual of interest, even in the short moments that we've been running this demo, of 1/100th of a cent. Let us now repay this loan. I'll repay max. MetaMask is asking me to confirm the transaction, and this transaction has confirmed successfully, and we can see here that the loan position has been closed out. And here I can withdraw all my collateral from the platform. and successfully confirmed, and my deposited collateral position disappears, and all of that collateral is now deposited back into my wallet. So there we have it, the primary lending platform. We saw how lenders can deposit their capital and withdraw their capital and automatically earn interest. And we saw how borrowers deposit their collateral assets against which they can take out a stablecoin loan, repay the loan, and then withdraw their collateral, all within a sleek user interface. We hope you enjoy.
Thank you very much, sir. It's always been a pleasure dealing with you. Eric was also running the Crypto Cope shop that gave us access to awesome merch. So I wanted to wear my windbreaker right now, but it's too hot here. To Dope, yes, I'm covering those questions that were attached to the AMA in a bit. In fact, Constantine, do you have the list? Can you help me? Can you help me start asking those as soon as we start the AMA?
Yeah, sure. In no particular order, like in order of appearance.
I do not hear you.
Let's give Brian a minute, and so everyone is on board.
All right. Perfect. Let's just give Brian a minute. Meanwhile, we'll shout out to all the guys that are here. The list is already growing. So yeah, shout out to everyone. You did it. If you invested in Bond back when it was still called Bond, well, congratulations. You're one of the OGs. People are already celebrating the 41,000 link that was just dropped into the platform. So let's just hope that that is the start of a great road towards massive TVL. Wanna comment anything about the yacht party and how everyone's looking so far? Some very interesting avatars in there.
To collect the rewards for treasury hunt.
Were you expecting them to be that fast?
Not really, because they were hidden in different locations. It was complicated to find all of them.
Yeah, I thought I would try.
That's what Fringe was.
I thought I would try to get like 5 or 6 or something. Not all the 12 of them, but just like to try and get as many as possible. And I couldn't. Like, I think I got like 4. They were well hidden, and I could never figure out how to get my hold of the one that was in the jacuzzi. That one was tricky. Hey, there we go. Alex, I presume? Yes, it is. I don't think I've ever seen your face before, man. How are you liking the party so far?
Yes, I think it's great. I'm enjoying it. Some connection issues, but now I'm very much.
We're now just waiting for Brian to join. I hope that is sooner rather than later. What was the problem that he was experiencing?
I think it was a mic issue.
He sounded right to me, though. Okay, well, guys, since we're just waiting for Brian for the AMA, make sure to drop your questions on the chat or just comment whatever. If you also want to request to speak and want to say something, yeah, welcome to... Brian is here now. Hello, Brian. You hear us?
Yes, I can. Hello, people.
All right, great. So let's just go straight on with the AMA because we have an itinerary to stick on. I want to drop the first question, Konstantin.
Does Fringe app work on AWS? I think it's for Brian.
Yeah, that one is for me. Yes, currently it is working on AWS at the moment because we are moving towards a decentralized approach for our front end and also our back end. At the moment, we have a back end collecting some statistics, some aggregate figures, and that's used for our charting and the markets page on the application. Part of our roadmap is to move away from any centralized components and particularly reliance upon AWS. So this will allow anyone to run and host the Fringe front end, and this will be all part of the philosophy that we're embracing for decentralization and good DeFi. So that's a long answer to a short question, but yes.
All right, very good. And I think the next one on the list is actually for you, Konstantin. How is the roadmap looking for starting reward programs, especially when it comes to USDC deposits?
Let's divide the questions into two parts. First of all, lenders on the platform will receive the corresponding USDC token, which is an interest-bearing token that you can change to the high amount or the underlying asset USDC, and the interest rates depends on the utilization of that capital and borrower's demand. So this part of the platform is live, and you already can utilize that. But in order to kickstart lenders acquisition, we will also launch additional rewards for lenders on their USDC tokens that will go live with the stake and rewards platform launch.
All right, very good. Let me just go back to the question list and see what else we have in there. Also, guys, remember that we're reading your questions live right now, so feel free to drop any new questions that arise. Well, this is an easy one. Are there any plans to have a team page on the Fringe Finance website?
Easy, because we do have an internal discussion about that, and while the team is, how they say it in crypto, fully doxed and no one is hiding and you can see our faces, and we do understand that people initially discover the project, it's important to them to rely to real people. We are moving to the DAO where the organization is much more important than the individuals that are involved.
Yeah, I know that Brian has a very interesting perspective here, especially when it comes to the DAO. So would you like to just take the floor?
Oh, I don't know whether there's too much philosophy in this, but the DAO is really the organization. And so it's not necessarily the individuals that really make the difference there. So team page, I think, becomes less and less important once we move to a DAO.
Yeah, and I would concur. Like, I see, like, we talked about this briefly on the product demo, but we're all excited to see how this goes once we start working our way towards becoming a DAO and integrating more of the, especially the input of the community is what I feel would be more interesting when it comes to a DAO. Not really the execution of the proposals themselves, but like just having so many voices coming at the same time. Okay, let me just move to... Well, we have a question about this, actually. How is the DAO development going, given that the AMA Part 2, April 2022, indicates how pinnacle this is in determining the size of the potential staking reward funds and everything regarding resource allocations? So, would you like to just tackle this one as well, Brian?
I think there are a couple of components to that question. First one is, of course, how's the progress going towards establishing the DAO? Now, today is the first day that we get to lift our heads out of the water and take a breath, because it's been a lot of hard work getting this to this point to release the product. So we have been working in such a way with the DAO to formulate ideas, and with our previous involvements in other DAOs, beginning to shape what that will begin to look like. Now we've got some time and effort, we're going to be able to be focusing on that with a little bit more direction, and I anticipate quite soon we'll be able to make some announcements regarding that. Not immediately, but the short answer to all that question is, now we've got more time, we can look into it in greater detail, and we anticipate getting some input and setting some direction there. I think the second part to that question, which is about the rewards, I'm not best positioned to answer that.
Hey, we have Paul here as well, so if you just want to talk about the road to decentralization and DAOs, feel free to join, man. It's great to see you enjoying one of these.
How you doing, guys? I quite enjoyed the movie in the boat. That was great.
Are you having wine or whiskey at the decentralized bar?
I'd like, but I'm actually having coffee. I just woke up not so long ago. It's 9 a.m. here.
Sorry, guys, we spent all our money in the helicopter and we only got 2 different types of drinks for the bar. Don't blame us. Yeah, man. So how are you feeling about this launch? And yeah, whatever you'd like to say to the community. I think it's the first time you make such a public appearance, so I would just want to give you the floor to go for it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it feels quite invasive for me to be on video. But hey guys, good to see you. This is obviously a pinnacle moment for Fringe, and I'm quite happy we're here. I think regarding the DAO, there's just a lot of questions moving forward. When you consider the structures of governance, the concept of a community-owned DAO is a nice idea, but in practice, it's probably not ideal. Mainly because there's a reason we have, in business, we have a board of directors. They're highly educated in these specific fields, and they are they have an intricate, in-depth knowledge of the business, its operational requisites, and everything it needs to succeed. And you can't get that kind of intellectual property across a mass audience, which means it's really hard to, I guess, expect optimized decision-making across a large group. Whereas if we had sort of a more of a delegated position where you could vote people you trust as a small contingent who are well educated on the protocol to make those decisions on your behalf, and you can vote them in and out, that's more of a DAO structure that I think would probably work best. And we're exploring all these kind of ideas. So I know everyone likes to have certainty around what's happening moving forward, but DAO is not an easy implementation by any means. So we need the flexibility to be able to mold as we see fit to make sure we ensure the longevity of the protocol.
And I think that's what we all want, right? We're all thinking long term.
Alex, I think. Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say there?
Does that resonate with everyone?
Yeah, definitely. In particular, the part about longevity, I think that's what we would all like to see, right? No one wants to build something that immediately goes ahead and crashes to the ground. Hey, we haven't heard much from Alex, so I just want to give you the floor, man. How are you doing? How are you feeling about this whole launch?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Yeah, it's been really interesting working towards it, and I'm glad we eventually last year. It's great. And yeah, I think that for DAOs, like delegation is very important to allow for that specialization to occur. And I think that DAOs do potentially offer the ability for there to be more fluid membership of the contributor set, which is potentially why it might not be apt to like have a team page. Although I think that there'll still be like some core contributors who will be managing it and managing that fluid larger contributor set. But I think that is definitely potentially a benefit of DAOs, that they can take advantage of the community and the skill set of various members of the community by allowing for them to contribute and contribute code and ideas and take part in the development process.
I'm going to move on to one of the next questions that the community just asked, just to get as many of them rolling before we cut to the next section of the party. This one I think would be great for Konstantin, but also for Paul. How are you feeling about the immediate marketing perspectives of the platform, and what are your plans in the shorter term? I think I'll leave you lead, Konstantin.
In our marketing efforts, we rely heavily on two big parts. First part are our partners. We have 3 partners with our ecosystem, and they are much bigger than we are at the moment. And it is always great to have friends, who is stronger than you, is more powerful, and they can help you to kickstart the user acquisition. Another part we heavily rely on is our community. That is very helpful, and we will, leverage our resources in that part to make the crypto community know about the project much more than it's currently.
Yeah, Paul, anything you'd like to add there, man?
Yeah, marketing's Konstantin's field for sure. I think that term marketing promotion in crypto it's hard because the incentives of most people aren't quite aligned. And sort of as I've always stipulated in our crew is that the best form of marketing is when other companies are talking about us, primarily because companies are also customers of ours. Not only will, if they have a good user experience from their end as depositors or liquidity providers, their endorsement essentially is an exponential boost because we obviously get to leverage their communities that come along with their endorsement. So that'll be a prime focus, is making sure that our partners and clients use the platform and actually appreciate the value we bring to them.
I'm getting sorry, I don't know if I'm muted. I am muted. Okay, yeah. I'm getting a fun question. Now, feel free to just don't take this one too seriously. But how many collateral assets would you speculate we can get in the next 12 months? People already want the hundreds. People are not going to settle for 7 for too long.
That's funny. Well, obviously, the more the better. Obviously, gives us broader scope, more users. More users means more fees for Fringe holders, so that's obviously ideal. Obviously we've taken an integrity first approach when it comes to protocol. So we need to have the right data feeds to make sure that our algorithms are operating properly. So we until we get USB out and well tested, we're limited to the data feeds at our disposal. So I know that's not quite the number you want to hear because there is no number, but that's pretty much all I can say in that regard. But the goal is to get as many as possible within those parameters, of course.
Brian, want to elaborate on that or add anything there?
Yeah. Okay. So there's a technical set of considerations that come into play there, and we have been spending a lot of time over the last few days, Alex and I, diving into the assets that we could potentially list onto the platform. And our marketing team is just about to receive a barrage, a monstrous list that they can go out to the market and speak to the potential, or the projects there about potential partnerships. So you guys thought you were going to get a breather after this, but I'm afraid it's going to get a lot harder.
Yeah, and we've got processes now. We've got programs that automate the calculation of the debt limits and the LVRs for each asset that we list. So therefore, we can pretty safely list even really small collateral assets with low liquidity, just by setting low debt limits for those collateral assets to prevent the low liquidity from being used.
In the chat that the actual video in Decentraland is moving quite slowly, so if you're listening to this on Decentraland, just come to Telegram, ask a question, join us. Also guys, we have 5 minutes of AMA left, so if anyone listening to this would like to request to speak and just come say a few words, ask a question, feel more than free to. In the meantime, I'm picking up another question here, and whoever wants to take this one, take it. I know Paul in particular feels strongly about this. Does it make sense for Fringe to start onboarding large market cap assets as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, as long as they have the requisites, then of course, large market caps. We do have a point of difference that, or I guess, a problem we wanted to solve from day one, which was more efficiently using dormant capital, and most of the large market cap assets have existing lending markets with other providers. But yeah, of course, I mean, we want to sort of cannibalize the whole market if we can. But lower hanging fruit, whatever works for us and gets us the most TVR to start, that's where we're going to focus our attention.
Yeah, I think that although it's not a primary focus to list large cap collateral assets, it's still worthwhile doing so because it allows for borrowers to not have to use multiple lending platforms. Like they can just use one lending platform to borrow against all their collateral assets rather than having to go to another lending platform to borrow against their larger cap collateral assets. And so that is all completely possible. I think that's a good idea, and we'll be listing those soon. And also, I think that given that a lot of large cap collateral assets are harder to partner with due to them being so large and having so many, I suppose, opportunities, it's likely that we'll list those relatively soon, and especially for the very large ones, probably not even try to partner with them and have received promotion from them just because of the practicalities associated with doing that. And so I think it's more the mid to small cap tokens that we're partnering with and getting promotion from, because they're the ones that are more likely to be willing to agree to such partnerships and arrangements.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, people are commenting on how good my skin looks. Thank you very much. And someone's also asking, this is a good question for you, Brian, since you just talked about data structures. Are there plans to implement any analytic structures like Dune Analytics or something similar?
We will look at all this. As I mentioned, we currently have our own back end and we collect various aggregates and so forth, but I think there are many opportunities to move away from that. And we'll be looking at all of these opportunities.
All right, we have 2 more minutes of AMA, guys, so keep dropping those questions. A lot of people are commenting that they're also dropping some assets onto the platform now. That's always appreciated. That's the way we're all gonna make it if we just use the platform. Someone is also commenting on how nice it is to look at the whole team together in one picture. This is a good moment to just say thanks to those that are working behind the scenes that are not right now on this call with us. We certainly couldn't have done it without Annabelle, without Anna, and without the guys at Cyber Unit that just worked their asses off for this. And some people are already asking when questions, so that never stops. I don't know. We have 2 minutes more to go, so are there any final words you'd like to share before we finish this stream, guys? If you don't start talking, I'll start pointing fingers. Okay, you go, Brian.
Oh boy. Okay, a lot of the delays getting to this point have been technical, getting things over the line. So there has been a lot of pressure on the team to get things done, but what we've tried to do is really pay particular attention to getting this right. That's really been our focus, and we're quite nerdy, so that's really been where our heads have been at. So hopefully this really pays off for everyone involved, which is the entire community, and it's been great to have the support, and we look forward to the rest of this journey because we've got some great roadmap items. We work pretty well as a team, or very well, I should say, and we look forward to continuing to do this.
Cool. Final words, Paul? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it resonates everything I believe in too. One thing I love about our team that is sort of aligned with our community too is that we're all, what should we say, very, very resilient and patient. It's been a long journey, but we've all stuck in there. So I'm just very excited to be here. I can't wait to get us, out in the commercial environment, tested, and start seeing it take over. But yeah, thanks to everyone for hanging in there. It's really appreciated, and let's make it all happen.
Yes, thank you everyone for your
Hey,
patience.
also, props to you guys. You did a fantastic job with the yacht party and stuff. I think the presentation was great. So hats off, really.
Oh, thank you.
Carlos, Constantine.
Thank you very much, and well, thank you very much to everyone watching. Thank you everyone for your patience and for your hard work. We are out of time for this, so please go back to the yacht. Please continue to enjoy the party, and we'll see you in there. See you at the bar. Bye bye.
See you, everyone.
See you
See you,
guys.
everyone. Thank you.
touch you. Take as much as you can. Doesn't matter where you are.